Great action there, and that was day 6 here at the Nicaragua ISA World Masters Surfing Championship. If you just joined us once again, very special guest this morning, Fernando Aguerre, who is providing the testosterone here, the ISA president, Sonia García, 10-time Panamanian champion, and Rochelle Ballard from Hawaii, who was a tour veteran for 17 years. And I wanted to start off first with you, Rochelle, because a lot of people have been commenting. You were on the Pro Tour for a lot of time. You're surfing as well as you ever have. Some people are asking to check your passport to make sure you're over 35 years of age. But what are you doing now? How are you staying in shape?
I'm just doing yoga, you know, and really within teaching and doing massage and retreat and wellness, you know, there's a sense of giving back, and when you give back, you receive, and it really keeps me in check. You know, I'm keeping healthy with the way I eat, and being at home, you know, being in Hawaii is just such a beautiful environment to be around, and, you know, being around my family and my friends and having some consistency. So it's done me some good being off the tour for the last few years, and but it feels good to be back here.
It must have been a very hard transition, though.
You know, it was. It's interesting when you don't realize until later that, you know, you're off the tour for you're on the tour for 17 years living out of a bag. And I literally, from when I was 19 years old, traveled the world straight for 17 years and was only at home for maybe about 2 or 3 months at a time. So when you get home and people like have a routine, you know, I don't know that routine yet. And so it took some time to adjust. But, you know, that's why I started getting so deep into yoga and to, you know, the wellness side of things, and starting a retreat, you know, packaging and center with surfing and everything, just to keep that balance and that dynamic and focus, you know, and into something that I love. And I've always really enjoyed inspiring and sharing with people. When I was on tour, I did surf camps with the girls, and, you know, that was just always very inspiring to me. And you know, doing whatever I could for the women's tour. So I was like, okay, well, I can't just work for a living. I need to do something that feels good and that inspires me. So, you know, I found that love, and it's surfing and yoga.
Yeah, well, it's definitely working for you in the water. I wanted to ask Pucha, you 10-time Panamanian surf champion, but you have transcended the sport. When you go to Panama, you see your face on billboards, you have a calendar, and you have grown larger than the sport. Was that something that was hard work? Did you have a plan for that?
Lo que te pregunta es si cuando estabas, sos campeona panameña 10 veces, pero evidentemente tu carrera, lo que has hecho en tu vida ha trascendido el mundo del surf, ¿no? Con el que hemos estado en Panamá y te hemos visto en carteles carreteros y tus actividades de modelo y con sponsors de marcas y todo. ¿Ha sido un trabajo duro?
Bueno, ha sido una carrera bastante larga. Cuando inicié tenía 15 años y bueno, eso ha sido un trayecto largo que he tenido que ir poco a poco, puesto he sido la pionera del surf en Panamá y al principio fue bastante difícil pues ver a una chica en el agua. Y bueno, poco a poco fui adaptándome en el agua, tanto los chicos también viendo un talento femenino. Y bueno, con todos estos proyectos que he ido pues laborando año tras año en mi carrera deportiva, tanto como surfista como modelo, ha sido toda una experiencia para mí increíble, y también representar la categoría femenina en Latinoamérica.
I'll make corto un poquito para traducir, si no se me va a olvidar todo. So she said that it's been a long career, and she started very young, at the age of 15. She actually competed from Panama first at the ISA in 1994 in Rio de Janeiro, and it was a real interesting. Oh, you want me to be there? Yes, okay, I'm there. So she was at first looked upon as strange, a woman that surfs. You know, Panama, you know, Latin America. Surfing is a male sport, and you know, society is quite still chauvinist and male-dominated and male-oriented. So it was a challenge, especially moving into her career as a surfer and also as a model, to find her role in society. ¿Y qué son las acciones que haces ahora para seguir con tu carrera, y qué es lo que te gusta hacer y cómo te relacionas con otras chicas para ayudarlas al agua?
Bueno, con las clases de surf todos los años tengo un campamento que hago prácticamente una vez al año, motivando a todas las otras chicas, puesto para incentivarlas a practicar el deporte. Cada vez hay muchas chicas más en el agua. Esa es la idea de tener nuevos talentos, nuevas generaciones que son las que nos van a ir suplantando en el futuro. Necesitamos mucho más chicas en el agua. Latinoamérica está surgiendo cada vez más, hay nuevos talentos. Mira, aquí en el Campeonato Mundial hemos visto destacándose a las latinas. Y bueno, estamos muy contentas de representar Latinoamérica con mucho orgullo.
Y en el tema personal, ¿qué es lo que haces para continuar con tu carrera?
Bueno, continúo siempre con mis patrocinadores, les propongo proyectos nuevos, también por medio de mis calendarios. Cada año trato de crear nuevos proyectos para cada uno de mis patrocinadores, al igual que para mí. Actualmente abrí mi propio gimnasio también.
¿A dónde?
Incentivando a las chicas para que se mantengan en Pedací, el lugar donde vivo.
Yeah.
Y está ubicado bastante cerca del mar, así que entrenamos todos los días allí.
Okay. So what she's saying is that on the one hand, I was asking her, about what she's been doing with younger girls, and she said that she has a yearly camp that she brings girls from all over Panama to learn and to get them to love the sport of surfing. And that has been very, very positive. And she's seen also a surge in female participation in surfing around Latin America. And she's seen here a lot of Latin masters women, which is a small group because 20, 30 years ago there were not a lot of girls in surfing in Latin America. And I also asked her about her what she's been doing today to further her career and her personality and everything she has in Panama. She says, she works with sponsors in events, in promotions. Her calendar every year has a different direction on how she promotes and involves the sponsors. And in a parallel to what Rochelle is doing in Hawaii, this year she opened her own gym for girls to be fit and to look after themselves. And in Pedací, which is where the juniors opening ceremony was, which is a place maybe a mile from the ocean. So it's a combination of surfing and staying healthy.
Fernando, I want to ask you, you seem to have led a real drive for greater involvement of women, not just on the competition side, but also in the administration of the sport. Lane Beachley, who is the reigning ISA World Masters champion, 7-time world champion on the ASP Tour, is also a vice president of the ISA. So I wanted to ask you about your passion and where you see the need for greater involvement of women in sport.
Yeah, I think my passion is not just for great involvement of women in the sport, but for great involvement of women in decision making in every process anywhere in the world. We are as male, we are restricted to our hunting, violent nature, and biologically. So that poses limitations to us, to how we understand kindness, love, tenderness, understanding of differences. And I am a firm believer that the more leadership of women we have at all levels, from families, which in Latin America have been male-driven, as opposed to equally driven or female-driven, it will be a benefit for the world. The IOC has pushed hard for sports organizations to bring the equal participation of women and male at the sports and at the sports administration. This year, the US OC delegation to London will have more women than men for the first time at the athletes, but at the administration of the sport, I think they should look at themselves in the mirror. It's a shameful reality in which basically guys, the IOC has one woman in the executive board, which is 12 people, and I'm proud that the ISA has 40% because we have Lane and we have David Beecham, two former professional champions that love the sport, that are very kind people that give us a different perspective than the one we have. So it's not just a kind gesture from ourselves. It's the right thing to do because it enriches the process. And I think in surfing it should be the same. Unfortunately, when you look at masters, the composition of the team, which is 1 in 7, it probably reflects the composition of surfing in the water, 20 years ago, which was very, very much male. I hope it will change. I hope that I will see it in my lifetime. If you look at the juniors, it's 66-33. So that's more like what you see in the water. and I would say probably pushing more than what you see in the world, hence creating an opportunity for female. And I just think, overall, I would just like guys to relax a little bit more and let the girls, grab the steering wheel. My mom used to tell me that I was 18 or 19, and the way I was, the way I dress, the way I talk, and I'm just like I carry my heart in my hands. You're like a woman in a man's body. I say I'm okay with that. So I think more guys should feel like that.
We're about 2.5 minutes away from the start. Rochelle, wanted to firstly mention that you have Latin American roots. So obviously you're feeling pretty comfortable down here.
I do, I really enjoy it, and I think it's, I do feel that. I'm like half Spanish Mexican. My maiden name is actually Gordines, and my dad moved to Hawaii when he was a teenager, and so that's what happened there, but my whole family followed. But yes, I love Latin America, and I do want to learn Spanish. I will. So next year you'll see me with a little bit more Spanish-speaking roots. So yes, it's been a great event, and thank you so much, Fernando. And I well said. And it's just every time I'm around you, I love you more and more. So and it is a balance. It is a balance. We both have that male and female side in us, and so the more that we have that balance and sharing with each other, then there's harmony in the world, and we'll see a dynamic, beautiful balance in our society and the way we live our lives and the environment.
Very nicely said. Fernando, I wanted to ask Pucha, what would an ISA World Championship mean to her?
¿Qué significaría para vos ser la campeona mundial del campeonato de la ISA?
Para mí es un sueño, es un reto. Estuve casualmente conversando con mis amigos y diciéndoles, en las entrevistas antes de venir hacia acá, los medios me decían, ¿cuál es tu meta? ¿Qué quieres hacer? Continuar en el Mundial Open, el Mundial Master. Y yo dije, mi próxima meta es estar en el podium de un campeonato mundial máster. Yo sé que no es fácil, pero tampoco imposible. Y bueno, yo sé que con mucha dedicación, mucha disciplina, entrenamiento sobre todo, lo voy a lograr. Y bueno, eso va poco a poco. Hay que trabajar duro para ello, pero yo sé que no va a ser difícil. Soy una de las personas cuando me propongo algo y pues trabajo en ello, yo veo los resultados y bueno, voy a seguir trabajando duro para pues lograrlo.
Okay, she says that it's a dream of hers. She would love to do it, and she dreams about a podium. She dreams about being on the top 4 finishers in a final. And they ask her about is she gonna still compete on the Open and in the Masters? What is she gonna do? She says she doesn't really care. She will continue to serve. She knows that it's very hard, but she is very dedicated, very devoted to what she believes in, and it takes a lot of effort. But effort is just part of what she's been doing all her life, so it's okay.
Same question for you. What would a world title mean for you?
Well, I came runner-up on the ASP World Tour, so it would be great to be able to receive that. I'm definitely looking forward to the next event where Lisa and Lane will be there. Hope they're watching. And then we'll have some solid competition from the days when we were peaking in our careers. So I think that peak can continue, especially when you take care of yourself. And I know that those two ladies are surfing quite well these days.
So the challenge has been issued right there, and it's very appropriate with these two beautiful surfers beside me. We're going to be dancing with the tides a little bit today, but we're about to get underway with competition. So let's go over to Otto Flores and Adam Rapogel in the commentary booth.